I have a lot of stories, and actually one of the ex-NFL players actually was a big fan of mine. He actually followed. Cool. Yeah, he was actually following the show, and he says, I'm actually a big fan. I didn't even know he was following me, and he was a photographer. And who was the guy that I told you, the photographer that was a Witherspoon?
Yeah, Will Witherspoon.
Will Witherspoon, ex-NFL player. I think he played for the Carolina Panthers.
Right, yeah, Panthers, Rams, and one other team. Titans, I think.
He told me he's been following me. I didn't even know he was following me. He's a big fan of my show. And he actually wanted to take a picture with me, so I actually got a picture with him. But I'll never forget.
That makes you feel good.
Yeah, of course. You put a lot of time, and 9 years of hard work and dedication on what we do, and hopefully very soon we're going to be pitching it to the major markets. We want people to see what it is. What radio is really supposed to be. I think the problem with radio now, and you should know this. I mean, you work in the industry. I think a lot of people are put together, and everybody talks about the same stuff, and it gets so boring. It gets so watered out.
People want the authentic version of who you are at the end of the day, because even if you're being who you are and someone disagrees with you, you can still respect that at least you're being the authentic version of yourself. Like when Kobe died and Elle Duncan got up there and did her reader and came up with Girl Dad, she was being herself. Right. She was just sharing a part of her life, an interaction that she had, but she was just herself. She let herself be emotional. And it sounds crazy to be like, oh, you were allowed to be emotional. But I think that authenticity role is what's going to change media, continually change it. And I hope for you guys that when you do go and hit the national market, that it's so well received, because I think what you guys do and staying authentic to yourself is very important. Mm-hmm. And people who are going to be guests on your show can see that, and they want that too, because they don't want to come on, just like you said earlier, and get asked the same 5 questions after they've been sitting in a room doing, whether it's a junket of interviews or like a press day or whatever it is. Right. They've heard the same shit over and over again. I've sat on junket floors and heard, not to like knock anybody, but the same questions from 20 different reporters. And I'm like, you have the one-offs who come in and they're interesting and they have a random question, or they said, hey, I met you when I was 10 and look at this picture. Like, people want that. They crave that, because you're taking people behind this curtain of who is this person really? And you're not going to find that out if you're like, how'd you feel when you caught that touchdown? Like, right. Oh, I feel terrible. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get the same answer.
Well, we did an event over the summertime with Doc Gooden. Doc Gooden was doing this golf.
Look at you name drop. Look at your Rolodex in your brain.
Well, we did an event, and we actually helped host this whole golf event where Doc Gooden was being represented and getting awards. And it's so funny. I was upstairs, and Doc was sitting there signing balls. Everybody was giving him balls to sign before he comes down and meets everybody. And I was like, Doc comes to me and says, you want me to sign a ball for you? You want me to take a picture? I was like, no, unless you were going to take a picture with me. I don't want to take a picture with you. He started laughing.
But you know what I mean? You're probably one of the only people who's ever said that to him, and it's refreshing. I think it's refreshing, right?
Well, his girlfriend really loved me. She thought it was hilarious.
Good.
She really did. We were sitting at the same table, and she was just laughing at everything I was doing. I was making faces every time Doc went up there and he was saying something. I was making faces, and then when I went up there and I was supposed to take a picture with him signing an autograph as a Yankee when he pitched that no-hitter. I said, You know what? That was the last time I can remember a pitcher actually throw a no-hitter for the Yankees.
There you go.
But it's fun. It's great when you meet these guys and you respect them, and they actually will always remember you, because you brighten up their little part of their day where they're, sometimes they just want to come in and they want to get out. He actually 100%. Stayed and wanted to hang out.
Yeah, that's a testament to you again, having
Thank you, Katie. I love this. I love Katie. Katie should come on more often. The compliments are swelling. I mean,
anytime.
I'm getting some, I'm getting some bruises over here. I don't know.
What is it, the same spot as her tattoo? You're going to try to figure that out?
Hey, listen, I got a lot of tattoos, too. I have a lot of
not the same spot.
Yeah, well, I hide them. You can't see them. But if I showed you a tattoo, all my sports teams, I got a biotic heart, and I have the Knicks, the Islanders, the Yankees, and the
Jets.
The Jets. And 3 out of the 4 teams absolutely stink, okay? So when people see that tattoo, they say, wow, what great artwork. But why the hell would you put those teams on your chest?
What commitment. What commitment to losing you have.
Well, look on the bright side. They can't see it unless I take off my shirt.
There you go. That's why mine's teeny tiny. In case they turn around and nosedive, the Dodgers have been good for a long time, just not always the best.
That's
but
true.
I'm like, I can go safely with an LA.
Well, I don't.
Dodgers have been the best for the last 5 years.
I don't usually wear jerseys on this show, and if I do wear jerseys on this show, I wear my teams. I actually got a Kraken's jersey with my name on the back of it and
Nice.
00. It's a beautiful jersey.
It's a beautiful logo.
Beautiful logo. I hate the name Kraken. I always said to, I was talking, we argued about this on my show months ago.
I voted for Sasquatch, by the way.
There were so many names. I said, why don't they call it the Seattle Grunge?
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you could have still had the magical S or whatever the hell this thing is.
Vibes.
Yeah, I mean.
Cobain vibe.
That's where punk was really created. That's where grunge is from.
The Kraken's cool, though. I mean, it's not the worst that there is, right?
No, I just didn't like the name. I really
didn't. But the jersey's badass.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Really, I mean, the colors. Look at the colors. Beautiful. Really beautiful.
You get a New Yorker in a Kraken jersey, they're doing something right.
Hey, don't throw me under the bus now. Don't throw me under the bus.
Hey, you could get a Jordan Everly jersey.
The New York fans are going to kill me. Oh, my God. Here we go.
Those who are listening only, I just ratted him out. He's in a Kraken jersey and a Yankee hat.
That's
what
right.
is he doing?
Hey, look at it. It matches. Look at that. I got
It does match. It has a little bit of like a powder blue situation.
Well, that gives me some, some numbers, right, Speedy? It gives me some points on the, on the list.
Some cred, some
yeah, I should get credit for that. Right, Speedy? There we go.
I suppose. So my question is, aside from the talent production stuff that you've done, just an experience that you might have had maybe growing up as a fan, like one of your favorite fan experiences. You said you're connected with the LA teams, and also you said the Red Sox as well was one that was close to you. Do you have any unique fan story or maybe a young interaction that you might have had?
Yeah, I do. I hope my dad's listening. I'm going to talk about my dad. I wanted to bond with my dad, so that's why I learned sports. And then my dad's like, I was in dance class and he's like, dancing or softball? You decide. You got to pick one because you got to be good at it. And I'm like, softball it is, because my sister played and wanted to play. So anyways, I've been like a softball baseball fan because that's the first sport I kind of learned with my dad. And we went to a Dodger game and I brought this like old white softball. I'm dating myself because softballs were like heavy and white, right? And he brought that with us. And I was like, what are we going to do with that? And he's like, maybe we'll get an autograph. And I was like, maybe that'd be cool. 9-year-old me. My dad starts going like through these stairs at Dodger Stadium that I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to go through. And we just kept going and going. And I was like, where the hell are we going? I'm 9 though, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm just following my dad. And in the stairwell by himself is Tommy LaSorda.
Oh, God.
And my dad's like, Tommy, I've loved you forever. My dad's a huge Dodger fan because his dad was a Brooklyn Dodger fan.
Right.
So it's been like a lineage thing, right? As most sports fandoms are, or wherever you're born or whatever. But my dad had that pen and softball ready. So at my parents' house, there's this giant ass softball with a Tommy LaSorda on it. And it's like one of my moments where I'm like, I love this. I love being here at the game. It's something I can do to bond with my dad. And then the Boston part of it, my husband, when I first started at ESPN, Boston, my grandma's actually from Boston, but I didn't know that until I was like older because I have no sense of like anywhere outside of California. Californians are very like, it's here or nowhere. But my first date with my husband was at Fenway, and he's a Ranger fan. So he's in full on Ranger gear. And I'm like trying to fit in wearing a Red Sox hoodie. But 10 years later, we got married outside of Fenway. So I feel like that's a cool memory that I have from my early 20s is, the Red Sox have done me well in the husband department. So
there you go.
You were able to get to the same spot?
What'd you say?
Were you able to get to the same spot around where you guys went?
No, because, so we were going to try to go in, but with COVID, they were like, no. So we were just outside and the team was going to practice anyways. But our friend, Will Middlebrooks, I'm going to call you my friend, Will. I've never met him in person, but I love Will. My husband like grew up in the same town in Texas with him. And he actually got the Red Sox to put on their scoreboard banner, whatever, congratulations and like our wedding date on it. So that was really nice. Will knew that we couldn't get in, but he did something a little extra special for us. So that was nice.
You know, it's so interesting. And by the way, we are talking to ESPN talent producer Katie Hennessey. And it's so funny because you talk about Boston, and I have some crazy stories about Boston because me.
Oh, I bet you do. I have the vibe that you do.
Me and my old partner, we used to go out to Connecticut and Foxwoods, and then we'd go to Boston to promote our radio show. And I'll never
look at you.
It's the wintertime, and I'm, of course, wearing my Yankee hat, and I'm wearing a Yankee jersey. And I'll never forget it. We pull it. Boston is very clean. It's a clean city. It's not like New York City. You don't really see anything on the ground. It's like made out of the highways are made out of bricks and stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah. So we're parking, and I just got new tires. Okay, and I get out of my car. We're trying. Yeah, hold on. So we're standing on a line. Everybody's looking at us like we have six heads because I'm wearing a Yankee hat. He's telling me, take off the damn Yankee hat. These people are going to kill you. I was like, it's going to be even funnier because I took off my T-shirt that I was wearing, and I was wearing a Yankees champion, 1996 Yankees championship shirt. So I'm walking in. I'm trying to get in. The guy says, "Are you really going into this place with that?" I said, "Absolutely." What if they're going in with their Boston hats, what is the difference? He said, "You're going to get killed in here." I was like, "Oh, all right, whatever. I don't care." So I go in there. We're staying in the corner. People are looking at us. Nobody wanted to talk to us. Like we had poison in our pants. Okay. So my friend says, "Let's get out of here." So I'm getting out of we get out of the club. And so we're getting in my car, and I'm pulling backwards. To try to get out of a spot, and I hear a so I run over a bottle, a filled beer bottle. I get out of the car, and everybody on the line that was trying to get into the place was laughing. So I said, "You think this is funny, right?" So I go into my trunk. I pull out like a what do they call that? With the tire. A tire iron, and I'm threatening these people that I'm going to go and beat them up with the thing. And these people are looking at me as like, "Go ahead," it bounces, like, "You better get the hell out of here." And people were throwing things at my car. I was so pissed off the whole night. We drove all the way home from Boston that night. I was so angry. So, it was a stupid move by me, but again, it's just sports. It's just sports.
But the Yankee and the Boston fans are different because back to tattoos. I got a tattoo in Boston. And I was carrying that dog that I was talking about, my little tiny dog with me. And this girl stops, and my dog is named Scully after Vin Scully.
I love
She's
Vin
a little
Scully.
Cute redheaded microdoodle, thought it fit. But I'm walking with this dog, and she has a little Dodger collar, and the girl's like, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with?" And she looked down, and she goes, "Bye," and walks away from me. She's like, "That's disgusting." I'm like, "What?" And it's like the Dodger tag on my dog. She was not having it. She was all lovely and "Let's take a picture." Then she saw it, and it's so at least they're loyal, right? There's nothing like a Yankee and a Red Sox fan.